Hello, this is Tiffany. I'm here with another piece. So I am in my studio apartment. I just got back from a trip to Thailand, a 3-week trip to Thailand, and it was such a healing experience. I really felt the inflammation in my body melt off with the heat and the water. It was just such a beautiful opportunity to be in the sun and around such kind people. But yeah, I'm back here in Chicago. It's rainy, it's really gloomy. You might be able to hear the rain. The energy is very still. This piece is titled, "This is a test to see how much you actually love yourself. I dare you to try it." I want you to imagine a door. And behind the door, there's a simple dark room with nothing inside. Before you go into the room, you have to lay these things outside the door. All your achievements, whether it's school, career, creative projects, goals achieved, etc. And all the things that you do that you're proud of, like being a loving partner or parent or sibling or child, your spiritual growth, acts of service, generosity, studiousness, ways you've sacrificed, and etc. Lay down what people love about your personality, whether that's your humor, charm, boldness, etc. And lay down your desirability from a conventional standard. So, how you're valued by your physical appearance. And I also want you to lay down the inverse of those things, like all the achievements you don't have and the goals that aren't realized, all the things that you are not proud of, like mistakes, betrayal towards yourself and others, what people don't like about your personality, and ways you don't fit under desirability politics. I want you to lay each item on the ground outside of the room, stack them up, unload it all. And I invite you to open the door and enter the room, where all you're met with is the stripped down you. And as you sit with this version of you, ask yourself, how do you feel? Are they familiar to you? What is it like to be in their presence? What sensations do you feel in your body? Observe and take note. So coming off of the text, so this is a great practice that I do here and there. And every time the feelings are different. A note about walking into that room. You can imagine walking into the room and that version of you is in front of you and you're sitting with them. Or you can imagine that you are the one who put all the things down and you're entering the room and you're sitting with the present you. I think that this also can take the form of how we usually interact with inner children, where we're meeting that version of us, like it's a part of us. So really just follow what feels right. Okay, back to the text. All the things outside the door aren't necessarily you or not you, but in this room, you are met with nothing to point to. No plus or minus points that indicate your value. There's nothing you can stack to make a case to prove to yourself that you're a good person or bad person. There's no math you can do. So, what does it feel to really sit with yourself? What does being in your own presence feel like? Is it comfortable? Does every second feel tense? Do you feel like getting up and exiting the room? Does it feel amazing to not have all the stuff distracting you from you? Does it feel void? Does it feel like a mix of comforting and confronting? So we all love talking about how it's important to love ourselves and how we can tell if other people love themselves or hate themselves, and how people's partners reveal how much a person loves themselves. Or that's what I talk about all the time with my people. But can we be honest, actually honest with ourselves? Without all the evidence of our sainthood or depravity, do we actually love ourselves unconditionally? Can we afford ourselves the nuance of being human where we free ourselves from being net positive? Because the energy of getting to net positive ruins the whole damn thing. There's nothing to net positive to. That comes from a deeply punitive Christian God, or at least that's where it stems from for me, where it's this constant proving or performance of being a righteous and dutiful human. The thing about proving is that it cancels out the authenticity of a good deed. It nixes the chance of a soulful generosity. It robs us of acting from a deep root of liberation and love. It's like giving a gift expecting something back. It robs the giver of the pleasure of gifting from joyfulness because there are strings attached. And resentment is just around the corner if the other person doesn't obey according to the unspoken rules. Ironically, if we are going to do the math of our actions and hope to be net positive, the act of trying to be net positive is a negative. Some more reflections for myself. I included some photos from my trip. There's this photo of this gorgeous sunset on the beach. There's water, there's ships, there's little boats on the water, there are palm trees, there's sand. That was the view from our room. The next photo are these beautiful orchids all trimmed and laying down at this flower market in Chiang Mai. And the next photo is me smiling. I'm at breakfast. I'm doing a little work on my laptop. I just drank a smoothie and it is overlooking water and the beach. And the next photo is these huge vats of a broth and different types of stews. And I think it was a cow soy station in Chiang Mai in this little artist village. So back to the text. I just came back from 3 weeks in Thailand, and it's given me an opportunity to look at my life from a different angle. So I'm taking inventory. As I'm witnessing the horrendous attacks in Iran and the murder of so many children and adults, as I'm witnessing the violence against Black and Brown people here in the belly of the beast, as I'm watching US and Israel commit mass murder through Palestine and Lebanon and Iran, and the list goes on, and it's so clear. The path is totally unknown to me, but the clarity I feel in my body is unshakable. Imperialism and systemic greed is destroying everything, physically and spiritually. And nothing is more important than opposing it and painstakingly carving out a new way. Side note, the Israelis in Thailand are destroying everything. They are so rude to the locals. Their presence is so vile. And it is a problem everywhere. And to be around people who have literally been committing genocide like a few days before they enter Thailand is something that I am still processing because that's a horrifying experience. Okay, back to the text. As long as my eyes are fixed on the North Star, my role in the broader movement towards liberation for all is fixed. All I have to do is get low to the ground, stay rooted, and make decisions from a place of deep love. And ew, I'm throwing up writing this, but I mean it. It's cheesy, but that is the root where I want to make every decision, where I want to act from, where I want my actions to flow from, and not from reactivity when it can be helped. My true self-love, where I don't exist to prove my worthiness or goodness, allows me to generously step into my part, even though it's really murky right now. It gives me permission to do it quietly or boldly or loudly or invisibly. It doesn't matter. Because I'm not doing the math from an internal or external level. And what an honor it is to practice functioning from a place of possibility. Those things outside of the room from the practice, are really important. It is important for us to try our best to be responsible for our time here on earth, to be accountable, to cause as little harm as possible, to do art that shifts perspectives, etc. All those things are what makes up a life. And where my motivation and drive come from will determine the texture of my path. I always come back to this. But how are we supposed to have longevity in our communal efforts for global and local liberation if we can't stand our own presence? The consequence of that needs to be held with weight. If we're leading from a place where we can't be in the same room with ourselves, it means that accountability, the boundaries, the wisdom, the care is off. We have the honor of doing things messily, and I'm not discounting that. There is no perfect moment where we are all healed enough to be in community, but we have to do our part. We have to try. The self-accountability means that you have to go into that room, even when no one is watching. No one will affirm you or shame you into it. It takes drawing from our roots to do practices in private so that when we are in relationship and in community, there's more possibility for true care and reciprocity. And we need this more than ever right now. A phrase that keeps on circulating my system after coming back from Thailand is, I'm exactly where I should be right now. I'm exactly in the right place, both physically and spiritually. When I go through that door, after I slogged off all the stuff, I feel light. My presence is like sitting amongst a cute, swirly, airy cloud, and my body is firmly rooted to the ground. I don't always feel like this, but right now I do, and I'm thankful. Feeling deep soul peace in the middle of such empire violence is really bizarre. But I hope to protect this rootedness with my life and for it to guide my every move. I have so many other thoughts about how truly loving yourself will attract people who want to outsource their worthiness, and also how jealousy looks like love bombing at first. But that's for another time. So, for my ending question, what does liberatory imagination spark in me today? A liberation that isn't a far off, abstract idea. I want to see the full thing, the small ways it radiates in how I speak to myself, my chosen family, my community, in seeing strangers walking down the sidewalk and knowing they have everything they need, in witnessing the blooming of plant life in my neighborhood. I want to see it so big. I want to know in a house across the oceans where kids are getting ready for school that they are generously afforded a vast future of creativity and discovery. I want to see systems that are put in place not to make the elites richer and more powerful, but truly for the people where their health is prioritized and their future is abundant and long. I long to see it, and right now I need to be attuned to what is asked of me. Yeah, so that's it for today. Yet again, this practice of writing here and sharing and sitting down with bringing together some of my thoughts that I've been simmering on is such a good practice. And whoever's reading it or watching this, thank you for witnessing and for being part of this process. All right, I'll see you next time.